Good morning. So, today I'll be talking about staying relevant. Will you dismiss other ideas if you're on track to success? In today's world, information can be interpreted in different thoughts. Not all are the same. Being open to sharing these ideas may be hard if the other person doesn't see it how you believe it. To convince someone of the results you create out of productivity is from the daily use of tools in your disposal to get you where you believe is the success you're after. These tools, post-its, writing, Kanban, are the visual reminders in staying relevant and completing what's important to you. There have been moments where I have had friends come into my workplace only to discover that post-its, tally marks, and goals are set in the wall. This kind of setup is definitely not for show. And yet, more resources may be required for you to stay relevant and understand how your work is at risk here. Mentorship. Receiving the kind of guidance to understand more about the field and staying relevant on the path that you're on instead of doubtful ideas that discourage you from this success. Opinion, personal experience, and a second pair of eyes. Now, what are other ideas? Other ideas may be saturated market, leading you to understand maybe if there's other concepts or ideas out there as well, less likely to succeed. So why don't you try this idea, X? Vague suggestions from one point of reference. And so here comes your perspective. Why you want to stay relevant and improvise. All right, let's begin. Staying relevant. Now, going into detail on mentorship. Now, this is outside information that will help you in, say, and ironically, if it's just a hobby that you're working on, it could be a woodworking project. Why not receive some advice from your neighbor? Maybe get some kind of inspiration out of what he's created. Maybe there's something out of this that's inspiring him to create all of these things. And mentorship can go quite much further from just local interaction to reaching out to a podcaster, a radio host, anyone for that matter, because the idea here is that they're not part of this big company where you have to you have to contact one person to contact the other person. Say this receptionist, this person is called a gatekeeper, and they're not allowing any other points of contact, any source of information past this gatekeeper. So it makes it a lot harder for you to get a genuine conversation out of that person. But again, coming back into mentorship and being outside of this local aspect, you reach out to a podcaster and you may have this kind of response that you're looking for. And quite honestly, there's some inspiration, some examples that they have created themselves to get you started to getting that project done in the first place. Now, opinion, personal experience, and a second pair of eyes. This person may as well be open to seeing what you have to offer, to see what you have created so far. And quite honestly, if that person, that mentor has about 5 to 10 years of experience in dealing what you're about to deal with, they may feel, internally good, the fact that you could be that project that they were looking for, maybe raising you as a student to a master. And I think that's a really amazing thing when it comes down to productivity and getting your projects done, your tasks done, to get you to the goal that you're after. Now, these other ideas will discourage you. Of course, if someone sees what you've created and happens to say that this is not possible because of X, and because maybe you're not getting enough views, maybe this market is too saturated, you might not get enough money or a certain amount of income based on what you're doing, you're wasting your time, and these things are just, they'll bring you down. This is not staying relevant. It may happen when you're working on these tasks that encourage you to get these things done, and now you really want to focus in that perspective. So less likely to succeed. These vague suggestions coming from one point of reference, saying that, all right, this viewer has said this, and now I'm discouraged. The fact that, well, I don't know if this is possible, and out of the kindness, being open enough to listen from your friends or from a person's perspective, you're willing to watch this video, you're willing to read this article, and quite honestly learn more about what they're trying to refer to. Now, again, that's why you have this mentorship. This is why you have this second pair of eyes, and on top of that, it may as well be just a community to help you, to lead you into this belief that, well, what the progress that you're making so far is getting closer. It's getting closer to the success that you're after. Now summing these two topics up, mentorship and what these other ideas are, it's up to you to determine the kind of perspective that you want from these resources that you've read up, that you've watched, or even listened to. You want to understand why you want to stay relevant, and also understand why, what you can do to improvise out of the projects, the ideas that you happen to have in mind. And in the sense of productivity, things are constantly changing, and just because you have one project idea that says to do this doesn't ultimately mean that nothing else can change out of that. Due dates change, ideas will change, but stay relevant to what you want to do. And I think that's the most important thing when it comes down to productivity. Understanding different perspectives, but staying on the same topic, the same industry for productivity. Until next time, we'll be working on another episode for staying relevant. All right.